welcome to Big Life Mindset, best life hacks and strategies so you love life more. My name is Eddie Rakanui, and this podcast is in the top 10% most shared worldwide on Spotify. I'm a leadership coach, and my client base include executives, business owners, entrepreneurs, and even winners of the Westpac Bank Innovation Awards. My coaching provides clarity of purpose, prevents burnout, and supports your mental health. This podcast, my coaching, my businesses, and every facet of my life, in fact, are all contributing towards my vision. My vision is to be a global phenom in helping people to love life more. Today's episode is one from our 5-minute coaching series. You'll hear from a collection of international business and life coaches, each with their unique take on the problems you face and how to solve them. The format is simple. In their 5-minute segment, each coach will introduce themselves, a bit about their coaching offering and how to reach them. But most importantly, they're going to use the bulk of that 5 minutes to share a problem statement and the solutions. That's right, folks. It's free coaching advice simplified. The order of coaches speaking is chosen at random, and I have no affiliation to them or their businesses. This series is all about sharing some of their value with you in the hope that you pick up one solution to help you live a life you love so you love life more. You're going to hear a short drum sequence at the end of each coach's segment, so stick around and make sure you can get as much of this free coaching advice as you can. Also, a shout out to our partners at Cerberus Strength. You can check out Cerberus Strength at cerberus-strength.co.nz for their latest merchandise and elite sports equipment. Finally, if you're considering investing in yourself or you want your company to support you with professional development, then you can email biglifemindset@gmail.com. That's biglifemindset@gmail.com. And in the subject header, write coffee chat. One of our team will pick that up, and we look forward to catching up with you soon. Awesome. Thanks so much, everybody. Can't wait to share some of this value add with you, and I look forward to hearing from you. Okay, bye for now. Awesome. So our next guest coach is Paula Henry. Paula, thank you so much for joining me today. Would you like to share a little bit about yourself?
Sure. My name is Paula Henry. I am a life coach, and I work with women who choose to leave the workforce to stay at home with their families, do so with confidence and guilt-free. Thanks, Eddie.
Oh, I love this. Okay, so would you like to talk a little bit about a problem that you've identified and practical solutions that people can implement to address or solve that problem?
Sure. There is a technique that I have learned that's called the aroma reset. It's an interesting technique that incorporates our sense of smell and helps us to disrupt negative thoughts that can be going on. And this is quite common in mothers of young children who can feel a sense of overwhelm or frustration with what's going on in the current time. So the technique takes 5 steps. And so I'm just going to break that down for you. The first thing that you're going to do is identify the situation that is causing the sense of frustration or overwhelm. And once you have that, then you want to identify a one-word feeling word that describes that situation. So it might be anger, it might be sadness. And then once you have that, you want to identify where you are experiencing it in your body, because for every emotion that we have, there's a corresponding location in our body where we experience it on a physical level. So once you have those, then you want to listen in to what's going on in your head. And what is the negative thought that you are associating with the feeling and the situation? Once you have all those, you're going to take something that is a strong natural aroma to you. It could be a piece of fruit. It could be your cup of coffee. It could be some pine needles that you have outside. And you're going to cup that in your hands, and you're going to put them over your nose and mouth and take some deep breaths in. And while you're breathing in and out and focusing on that situation, what happens is our mind can't do 2 things at once. And so it reduces the negativity of the emotions and everything that you are experiencing because you've paired it with a positive aroma. And that aroma reset you can do it in a minute or less. And it's a great way to snap out of that sort of mood when you are ready to snap.
Wow. Wow. I love that. I love that. So powerful as well. Like you're able to conjure up. I can tell it's a really powerful technique because I can visualize myself doing it. Did you have a book or a coaching program or an offering that you wanted to share with the audience?
Sure. As I said, I am a life coach and I enjoy working with women who are transitioning out of the workforce to stay with their kids. It's something that I did a number of years ago and wished that I had had someone to come along the journey with me, and provide me with some advice and help me think through and plan things along the way. So I now have a 10-week coaching program that I work with women to go through that process. So I see you from the decision making time. When's a good decision? When's a good time to leave your particular job? What will that look like, both financially as well as emotionally for yourself? And then put a plan in place and walk you through it. So,
Awesome.
Help through the transition process to being at home.
Awesome, man. That's going to resonate with so many people. And how can people contact you?
Sure, they can contact me on my website. That's paulaphenry.com.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Paula, for joining us today. Really appreciate that extremely powerful technique that you shared with us. Can't wait to catch up with you again. Bye for now.
Bye.
Awesome. So my next guest coaches are Allegra and Natasha from Beyond Your Wildest Dreams. Thank you so much for joining me on the show. Would you like to share a little bit about yourselves?
Yes. So we are Allegra and Natasha of Beyond Your Wildest Dreams.
And we're on a mission to empower moms and caregivers to prioritize themselves, save time, accomplish their goals through actionable, accessible, and science-backed content.
In Western society, moms are expected and even encouraged to sacrifice themselves on the altar of their families. However, a 2019 survey shows that 30% of working moms are suffering from burnout.
So like a flight attendants say on the airplane, you have to put your oxygen mask on first before you can help other people. Moms burning themselves out is not good for anyone.
Oh my gosh, this is brilliant. I love this. Okay, so could you share a little bit about the problem that you've identified and practical solutions that people can implement to address that problem?
Well, when we first started teaching our signature course, Harness the Power of Planning, a problem that many students came to us with was that their to-do lists were never ending. And this led us to write our first book, where we identified the 3 mistakes almost everyone makes that keeps you from making progress on your to-do list.
So mistake number 1, usually people do this, write everything down. It may seem like that's the best way to tackle all of the various things you have to do, but in most cases, it winds up creating overwhelm, and that can be counterproductive. When we include things like brush my teeth on our to-do list and then cross it off, we feel accomplished. And that releases that yummy brain chemical called dopamine, which makes us feel like we've already achieved something, which makes us less likely to get the things that we need to make traction on done.
So, tip number 1, don't write everything down, especially reoccurring things like walking the dog or brushing your teeth. It's going to trigger that counterproductive dopamine hit. And honestly, those things need to become habits in order for you to do them regularly. And there are much better ways to form habits than your to-do list, but that's a whole different topic, right? Secondly, don't write down anything that takes 2 minutes or less to do, because it's going to end up sitting on your list for longer than it takes to complete. That includes things like writing a thank you note, texting your stylist for a haircut, or ordering pencils online.
Mistake number 2 that most people run into is randomly tackling their to-do list. So when we write a to-do list, often it's just a brain dump, listing things as they come to mind. Approaching these tasks in that random order is not a strategy that will save you time and money and energy.
So tip number 2 is to take a moment and decide if a task is deep or shallow work. Okay, so that helps you figure out the best time of day to tackle it. We define deep tasks as those that are mentally intense, require focused attention, or time critical. Shallow tasks are the opposite. They might even be considered relaxing. They don't require focused attention. Sometimes brainstorming is actually better done when you are unfocused, and they're not time sensitive. And only you can decide what is deep or shallow. For instance, I consider painting cabinets to be shallow because I'm a satisficer when it comes to DIY projects. My husband, however, is a DIY perfectionist, so he would consider it to be deep. Whereas any kind of content creation is work that I consider deep work, and I reserve my mornings for it because I have found through trial and error that I create content 3 times faster in the morning than in the PM. Discovering your chronotype might be helpful in determining the best times for deep and shallow work for you.
And mistake number 3, not making time for your to-dos. If we wait till we have time to do the things on our to-do list, many of those items will never get done. They'll just be transferred from to-do list to to-do list. We need to make the time instead of waiting for some magical space to open up in our schedule.
So tip number 3 is once you've decided if something is deep or shallow, estimate how long the task will take you, and then look at your calendar and see where you have a corresponding time slot that works. This is called time blocking, and it moves your to-do from being something that you will accomplish in the abstract future to something that has a time allocated to it.
So as you start working with these tips, we recommend marking up your to-do list the way we suggested, crossing out recurring things, noting things that take 2-minute tasks, and noting that next to them, identifying deep versus shallow tasks, and finally, picking an actual date and time to do the things on your to-do list. The more you do this, the more you internalize that structure, and eventually it will become a habit that you'll do all of this in your head and only just write down the time blocking portion.
Nice, amazing stuff. Now, do you have you did touch on a book that you had. Is there another book or a coaching program or a course that you wanted to share with the audience?
We have 3 offerings to help moms and caregivers put themselves first. The first is for the person who says, oh my God, forget to-do list, forget goals. I don't even have a single second for myself. Our solution for that is a short video series called Rock Your Morning. We'll send you 1 2-minute video 3 days in a row to help you get started on creating a morning ritual that ensures you get your needs met. And if you want more on this topic, we have a workbook version that takes about an hour to get through.
And if your main complaint really is centered around the things that we just talked about, and your to-do list is out of control, we got you. We have a 45-minute video workshop called 3, 2, 1 Done, 3 simple steps to get your to-do list done, which is also available as a workbook. And we'll cover those 3 common mistakes in more detail like we just did here to keep your to-do list ever growing. That keeps your to-do list ever growing. And we'll cover those 3 science-backed tips for overcoming those mistakes.
And if you've been backburnering some big goals in life, we have our 2-day virtual course called Harness the Power of Planning. It's life design and habit formation and goal setting all in one. We'll break your big goals down into actionable daily steps that will have you chipping away and making progress in no time.
Brilliant. And that sounds like a comprehensive suite of resources that you've got available. That's brilliant. And so how can our audience get in touch with you?
You can find all our actionable science-backed books and workshops at bywdreams.com and follow us on social media at bywdreams.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Allegra and Natasha. I really appreciated you coming on the show. Thank you so much for sharing a lot of that really actionable insights with our audience.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Thanks, Edwin.
Awesome. So our next special guest coach is Elizabeth Green. Welcome to the show, Elizabeth. Would you like to share a little bit about yourself?
Yeah. So as you said, I'm Elizabeth Green. I am the founder of Green Communications. We are an organization where we teach public speaking and debate skills to kids virtually and teens, kids and teens, I should say. We teach virtually to kids around the world. It's kind of surprising to me that I do this because looking back to when I was a kid myself, I was extremely shy. And I had that one teacher that kind of transformed my life when she invited me to participate in the competitive speech team. It not only brought me out of my shell, but it also led me to a path and career in communications. I was a news reporter, then did corporate communications. And now my goal is to help build these necessary skills in kids around the world.
Oh, man, that's so awesome. And you've identified a problem and some solutions that people can use to addressing that. What does that look like?
Yeah. So the main problem is that we often come across in different situations is trying to sound professional, convincing, cohesive, confident, all of that when we're answering a question. Now, this is not the way we normally speak. So what I'm going to tell you sounds super simple, and it is, but it's not natural. So if you are in a situation where you're trying to come across as prepared and confident in your answer, it could be in a job interview, a meeting with the board, anything like that, where you're asked a question, you want to impress your audience. It's a very simple formula that you should follow. It's a beginning, a middle, and an end. Okay, super simple, right? Because it really is. This just isn't the way we speak in everyday conversations, which makes it a little bit more challenging and why most people don't do it. But basically, and I'm going to give you an example that I use with kids because we teach kids. So take this example and translate it to whatever conversation or question you might be answering in your own environment. But a common question we ask our kids is, if you could have any superpower, what would it be and why? Well, in order to give a confident, cohesive, convincing answer, you wouldn't want to say something like, I'd want to fly. Okay, that's an answer to the question, but that's about it, right? So at the beginning is answering the question with a complete sentence. Very simple. If I had the option to have a superpower, I would choose to fly. Now, that in itself is okay, but if we want to be convincing, we need to offer explanations, right? So that's the middle part of our speech. This is a mini speech that we're doing. This is where we answer the whys. Why would we choose this? And again, translate this to any question you might be answering in a work environment or anything like that. But this is the one we always do with kids. So the middle would be a first, next, last. These are the reasons, right? So back to my example, my beginning, if I could have any superpower, I would choose to fly. First, I dream about flying all the time. It's my favorite dream to have. Second, I just think it would be so amazing to soar above the trees and even into the clouds. And last, it would be a really cool way to get places. Now, if I stop right there, you might think that I'm done, but you're not totally sure. So my audience whoever I'm speaking to isn't quite sure whether or not it's time for them to jump in yet. So if I want this to sound like a polished speech that I was prepared to answer, I need to add an ending. And it is so simple, but it makes all the difference. This is the part that is not natural to us. All you have to do is circle back to the beginning and restate your answer. So back to my speech. Again, if I wanted to sound professional in my answer, I might say, if I could have any superpower, I would choose to fly. I dream about flying all the time, first of all. Secondly, it would be so amazing to be able to jump up and just soar above the trees and possibly even into the clouds. And last, it would be a really cool way to get from place to place. So those are some reasons why, if I had the choice of a superpower, I would choose to fly. And that simple sentence at the end tells you that I'm done. I've given you my reason. I answered your question. I gave you reasons why, and I polished it up to make it sound like a prepared speech. And again, we don't do this in everyday conversations. We wouldn't. That would be weird. But if you're in a certain situation, interview situation, meeting with the board or things like that, where you want to come across as a little bit more polished and prepared, beginning, middle, and end is all you need.
That's fabulous. I love the way you broke that down as well. That's really bite-sized practical insights. So Elizabeth, do you have a book or a coaching program? What's an offering that you could attract people with?
Yeah, so I'm the founder of Green Communications, where I work with an amazing group of champion speech and debate coaches. Again, our goal is focused on building confidence and communication skills in kids and teens around the world. And we do this through our virtual classes. We have camps, tutoring, lots of different things where we're teaching different types of public speaking and debate. And surprisingly, public speaking and debate is such a small focus in regular education. In a lot of places, it's not even offered at all. But being able to speak clearly and confidently in front of a group is honestly one of the most influential skills we can have. In fact, I saw a stat recently that said Ivy League admissions counselors say that being part of a debate team is the second highest quality that you can have on a college application, only second to being an Eagle Scout. Right.
Whoa.
And it's not offered in schools in most cases. So our goal is to provide this skill and experience to kids and teens around the world. So it's not also going to help them get into college if that's what they pursue, but benefit them down the road. And we have a heck of a lot of fun in the process.
Awesome. I love that last bit as well. So how can people get in touch with you?
Yeah, so you can check out our website at greencommunicationsedu.com. We also have a podcast called Speak Out Standout that you can find at speakoutstandout.com for ways to build communication skills in your kids from home.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us, Elizabeth Green. That was wonderful. I love the practical advice that you shared, and I can't wait to catch up with you again.
Thank you, Eddie.
All good. Bye for now. Fabulous. And our next special guest is Rose Caiazzo. Rose, welcome to the show. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Awesome. Would you like to share a little bit about yourself?
Certainly. My name is Rose Caiazzo, or as we say in Italian, Caiazzo, but I'm also known as Jackson Hole Rose. I'm a professional voice talent, on-camera host, and MC, and I was a syndicated radio host for a long time. That's why I had my name trademarked, Jackson Hole Rose.
Wow, that's awesome. I love that. This has got a whole story behind that as well, by the sounds of it. That's really cool. Rose, would you like to share a little bit about a problem that you've identified and ways that people can solve that?
Yes, absolutely. So the problem is not discussed much. But here it is. Business owners are pretty adverse to putting themselves on camera. So especially on video, and especially business owners over 50. Maybe you can relate in some way, meaning you, the audience. And so for a few years, I was once a public speaking instructor at the college level and really found it's true that most people would rather die than speak in public. I don't know if you've ever heard this terminology, but it's true. But how is it different with video, right? So I believe the problem can be remedied in several ways. One of them being we need some mindset shifts. So what is authentic? If you think you're being authentic on camera, do you seem authentic to others, though, on camera? Because some people will do it, but then they're kind of in this place, well, people are not responding to me. Then number two is social media can be overwhelming. I think we can all agree on that. And several things can give you social media freedom. One of those things being live streaming video. So I am a big supporter of live streaming because it's easy. Basically, no filters, no scripts, no re-recording, no fuss. Just be authentic, hit the live button, and let the world hear your message. I also believe this is important for the future because with the rise of AI, which for those of you that aren't sure what that means, it's artificial intelligence, a business owner will need to show the world that they are real and authentic. So the best way, live streaming, recording in the here and now.
Very cool. I think that's some practical advice that any business owner and executive can take away. That's fabulous. Rose, do you have an offering or a course or a book that you'd like to share with the audience?
Yes. So I teach is how your authentic self will succeed in live stream recordings. I'll push you with a little love and get you looking good on camera. I have a program called Live Streaming Secret Circle, and it's fabulous. Oh, the things that you'll learn. So you'll get over those naysayer thoughts of being on camera with my help. Your business is one of your most favorite things in the world. I know this, right? Or the business you work for. So because I'm a business owner too, and I know that what you do in life and the work that you do is everything because it has to make you feel good about who you are and what you do. So if you want to know more about the live streaming secret circle, just go ahead and DM me. I'm on all the social media platforms as Jackson Hole Rose.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that. That's fabulous. I look forward to catching up again.
Oh, absolutely. And if you want to see my live streams, then you can go to facebook.com/Jackson Hole Rose. That's where I do all of my live streams for now.
Oh, I can't wait. Sign me up. Awesome. Thanks again for that, Rose. Look forward to catching up again soon.
Excellent. Thank you for having me.
Hey, kia ora, and welcome to our next special guest. It's Maria Callas. Hi, Maria. How are you? And would you like to share a little bit about yourself?
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. My name is Maria Callas. I'm a leadership coach, and I specialize in helping people who are stressed and overwhelmed to remember why they do what they do, and remember the light that drove them to do so, have fun again in their business, and definitely get better results.
Awesome. Would you like to share a problem you've identified and ways a person can solve that?
Absolutely. So a problem that people often come, especially leaders, because they have so much on their shoulders and they're managing teams, they may face lack of authority, like resistance to change, dealing with conflicts, especially team conflicts. They always may feel insufficient resources, and that leads them to feel that they're overwhelmed or stressed or burned out. And this is always causing them to say, well, okay, I cannot do it. And first, I want to remind people, yes, you can. You have the power in your hands. And there is a quiz in my website that you can take to determine where you're at and more details. But I'll tell you very quickly, the 4 steps you can identify. Are things happening to you? So are you playing victim? Are things happening for you? So are you feeling lucky? Are things happening so you observe things, so you're the observer, or are things happening through you so you really feel that you're in charge of your life and your destiny? If you feel out of control, it's because you forgot that last part. You feel that things are happening to you as opposed to realizing that you're creating your destiny. And the way to do it is to stop first with your mind, say, okay, I am lucky. This is really lucky. Make it up. Doesn't matter. And decide that this is a lucky occurrence. And then when you calm down, step out and decide that you have the power, and look at the resources you do have and think creatively, because creativity can get us out of this lack of resources and allow us to realize that we have everything we need to solve any problem we have in our business right now.
Fabulous. Thank you so much for sharing that. Do you have an offering, a book or a coaching program that you'd like to share?
Absolutely. So there's an ebook that you will find in my website. And again, my website is Maria Callas, Maria Callas, KELLIS.com. And people can also take the quiz there to determine where they are and what's the next step. And if they want to talk to me, they can book a 20-minute session. But I know people are busy. So if you do have the time, I have a special magical ability that I can see right through you. And because of the work I do, I can very quickly identify the number one problem in your business that you can focus on solving, and that will change everything for you. So that's my specialty.
Excellent. Thank you so much for that, Maria. And just to confirm, it's mariacallis.com?
That is correct.
Excellent. Once again, thank you so much for taking the time to join us. Have a great day.
Thank you so much.
Thank you again for joining me on this episode of Big Life Mindset. Once again, if you're looking for leadership coaching and you want to move your business from where it is into where you want it to be, or you're looking at coaching as an individual and you're looking at setting higher goals and achieving those while reducing burnout, stress, and overwhelm, then please contact me. You can find a link in the show notes, or you can contact me directly on biglifemindset@gmail.com. That's biglifemindset@gmail.com. Simply put coffee chat in the subject header and we can pick it up from there. All right, thanks again, and we'll catch up soon. Bye for now.